Chapter 1. They say it's not the fall that kills you. Maybe for humans this is true. Perhaps one could go on falling forever and yet live on. I have heard them say that you can get used to anything. Among my people, though, it is the fall itself that is the end. It is not, as you might imagine, a literal casting out. God does not throw us down from on high. It is, like many things, a process. One decision on top of another, until you realize suddenly that you are too far gone to turn back. It is too late to do anything but go on falling. Or so, at least, it went for me. I did not rebel. There was no grand gesture or sweeping denunciation of our values. Only Nick, and the 100 little ways in which I betrayed those who had been my people to stand by his side. I fell not because I hated humans, but because I loved one of my own. The hall was full of whispers. They ran along the white stone and echoed off the arches of the ceiling high overhead. The weight of them settled on my shoulders, heavy as the chains around my wrists. Behind them I could feel the eyes that watched me, row on row of them, intent and expectant. Overhead, golden light spilled through the tall windows set between pillars carved in the shapes of winged beings with upraised arms. It filled the gallery and fell upon the table set at the head of the hall. There sat the council, robed in blue so pale it almost couldn't be called a color at all, silent as graven images. Their faces were stern and cold, and under their scrutiny I clasped my hands together and willed them not to shake. It was a formality, I knew this, but fear still roiled within me like sickness. Amarantha of the second sphere! The words rang off the stone floor and ceiling, and the susurrus of whispers and rustling feathers quieted. You have requested a return to the halls of the host. Though I longed to wrap myself in the secure warmth of my wings, I kept them folded tight at my back, my chin lifted. I have seen the error of my ways. In the enormous space, my voice sounded small even to my own ears. Gregorius, seated at the center of the crescent moon table, studied me with cold blue eyes. I knew well that he had chosen the form he wore, those very eyes, for just that intensity, but that knowledge did not make it any easier to meet his gaze. Dark-haired Harmonia leaned forward in her seat on Gregorius's left. What brought you to a change of heart? Blood soaking into the dirt, the rush of aching realization, the horror filling me like a rising tide. I did not know, I said, when I joined Nicephorus, what the fallen truly were. I could not speak of what I had seen. I was not yet sure I could say such dreadful things without crumbling. But surely the council had heard every possible answer to that question. Mine would not be anything new. I thought they were misunderstood. A whispering went up again. I refused to let it shake me. Misunderstood, Gregorius echoed. The word was barbed. You say that, the third member of the council said, speaking for the first time, as though you have never heard such an answer before. Relief sang through me. It was no reprieve, but if Nicomedes had put a word in for me, I could hope that my case would be heard with compassion, though Gregorius looked like he had just taken a swallow of a particularly bitter draught. It was Nicomedes, and not he, who carried out the will of the council. So you were misled, Harmonia said. I was blinded, because I had allowed myself to be.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.